All my crafting friends, I'm coming to you with a very special Christmas in July type of video. I am so excited to be crafting with Christmas. If you haven't followed me before, or this is your first time seeing one of my videos, this is how I got into the card making world, is making Christmas cards. And so anytime that I can pretty much make a Christmas card, which I do try to make 1 or 2 a month pretty much. And then I will do a whole series in July for making different Christmas cards or prepping to get Christmas cards done in July so that our holidays are not as stressful. So let's get started today. We are using these amazing products by Bliss today. This is going to be a nice and simple Christmas card. I had several others that I have in the works for this month, but this one, I always love a good, stunning Christmas card that is very simple, and I think this is going to be one of them. So we're going to start out with this. It is the quilted stitch cover and the Merry Christmas shadow die. Thing about this card is I feel like these products you probably have in your stash. You just need a cover die or a piercing die that has a little bit of holes in it, I believe. And then a good Merry Christmas die with the shadow. And this is the one that we are using by Bliss today. You could use even something that is more bold, I think, and get even better results maybe. But today I just wanted something like dainty and very cute, and this is what we're going to use. So let's get started. You're also going to need most likely a trio of red dyes, or you could do blues, you could do green. Oh, green would be so pretty too. Maybe I'd go green. Anyways, both of those. Maybe we'll do 2. I don't know. And knock that out. Maybe we are going to do 2. I didn't even think about that before I started this. Okay. We got to get back on track. Anyways, so let's get started, and I am super excited to put this together. I think it's going to go pretty quickly. The hardest part probably is going to be your ink blending. I shouldn't even say hard. The longest part is probably going to be ink blending your panel. One of 2 ways you could even speed this up. You could not do all of the ink blending. You could go and do not pattern paper, but like a colored paper, and just ink blend the bottom into your ombre. That would be a really quick way to make this even quicker if you are knocking out a few of these. All right, guys, let's get started. All right, so I had a moment right there, and I was like, oh, I was going to do this card in red for sure. But now I want to do it in green also. So I did 2 cards and knocked them out really quickly. I always say, when you already have the supplies out, you might as well do 2 instead of just 1. You may double the cards. So look at that. I already have 2 Christmas cards done for Christmas. And I think I actually have done 1 other Christmas card before this. I was doing a craft roulette. So I am using the quilted cover die here. Now, I do wish this had it would have cut through a little bit more to show the white underneath. So maybe if you have a cover die that has bigger holes, maybe to get that. But then I ended up using black anyways, so it didn't matter. So get that quilted cover die out, and I think that this was the perfect little accent in the back of my card. Another one would be like a starburst. There's a couple cover dies that would work for this and make this card just a chef's kiss. All right, next you'll see that cover die also cuts out the paper, and it definitely cuts it with a 1/4 of an inch on each side. So this card is not exactly 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, because I don't like that big of a border around my cards usually. So I did cut it down a little bit. This one is probably 4 by 5 1/4. I would say that's probably not even that small, to tell you the honest truth. Okay, so we are going to use our red combo from the Color Fuses. I will have all of the links, of course, down below for you. I did switch up the light and the medium on this. I don't know. I just feel like 2 is a little bit lighter than 3. On this, I did not use the R1, so I just used the top 3 of the quad, I guess you used to say. You also just seen there that the brush really wasn't putting enough ink down, and when I'm not really like blending or like needing a really good like smooth blend, I will use my dabbers, and that puts a lot of ink down very fast. So I did use my dabbers, as you can see here, and honestly, I got a pretty good blend. I would just go back. You're going to see me go back and forth over all of the colors to kind of get that blend. Is it perfect? No, it isn't. I'm never here for perfect, to tell you the honest truth. I am here to get things done and to have crafty fun. So, you know, if you're there for perfect, this is probably not the person that you want to follow all of the time. Now, I mean, there's times where I do want to pretty close to perfect, but is 100% perfect? No. These are handmade, not Hallmark. That's what I always say. So they're not going to be perfect. These are handmade. So you can see me there. Also, the crimson is not as deep as the red that I would liked it. So I did go back in with some cinnamon, some brown, to mix that in with that bottom, just to give it a little bit more depth there. You'll see. And then when I bring this back in, you're going to see that this kind of all blended right together, and it looked fantastic. I loved it. So there's the red one. Gonna clean up our mess here and move on to the green one. So in the color fuses, you have like a green, yellow, and then a green. I did mix one of the green yellows into my green trio, I guess I should say. I did feel like my number 3, let's see, my clover didn't blend as well into the basil, I would say. So I think I brought in, I'll see here when it comes in. I can't remember exactly what color it is. I did bring in one, I think I brought in juniper. I think that's what I did. Is bring in juniper. I might be wrong on that still. To kind of mold them a little bit. No, I think it's like an olive. I'm going to stop there. So, okay, we're going to start with a clover, clover here. And get that medium. So you see that lightest one went a little bit darker, but that's okay. I'm going to blend it all out. I'm going to bring the top one back in. You're going to see me right here and blend even more out. So just keep on working the areas. You could even let this dry and do it a second time. If you are more of a perfectionist than me, you can definitely let this dry and then do it again, and I think that it would blend even perfectly. So, but keep on working it. Okay, so there you see. Woo! I'm like, oh gosh, okay. Those greens, I don't think that I was going to get those greens to blend very well. Maybe with the big blending brush I would have, but I definitely was not going to get it. Yeah, it's right, juniper. So I did bring in a green yellow, and it worked pretty well, I will say. Is it perfect again? Nope, but I think it worked pretty well for what I was looking for. See, there you go. I mean, like I said, it did bring in a different hue of green, and you can see that it's definitely a green yellow, more than a green, almost bluish, but I think they blended out pretty well. Again, like I said, these will kind of mold into each other a little bit more, and you will see. But you can see, I just keep on working it. I think that if you just keep on working it and go through, I think everything will just work out just perfectly. All right. There we go. It looks like I could have even done the top one more time to blend that out just a little bit more. But again, handmade, not perfect. All right, so then we are going to move on to our sentiment, because like I said, this is a pretty easy card. But you can already see, look at those panels over there just blending all, like they're over there just soaking into that paper. So, and it will look more ombre every time. We are using some gold matte paper. I am not a huge fan of gold glitter paper. But I might have, at one point I was like, I should have tried it on one of the cards though, but it is what it is. You know, we live and we learn. And this is one card that I would probably, so say I get to the end of the season and I'm like, oh shoot, I need like 5 more cards. This is definitely a card design that I would fall back on and do this again so that I could knock out cards pretty fast, because like I said, I did these 2 cards and even had some points where I was like, ooh, I need to change things up a little bit, because what you are seeing is my first time doing these cards. I don't go and make cards beforehand and then film it. So what you see is what you get pretty much. I did correct right here. At first I was only going to do 2 layers of my sentiments right here. But as you can see, like these are pretty thin. And I always forget to use my double-sided tape, or paper tape. I don't know what you want to call it. It's like a big roll of adhesive. You're going to see it pop up right here, right there. And I should have put that on the back of the black, because it would have been much easier just to peel that tape off, put all those together. Now, liquid glue does give you a little bit of give. If you mess up, you can move it around, but also like that glue gets on that matte gold and it doesn't look that great. So, you know, we live and we learn. I need to start remembering to use that tape more. I swear to you not. I need, especially in intricate cuts like this. So, all right, we're going to glue that one more time down. And honestly, this is probably the part I said in the beginning that it would probably be ink blending would be the hardest part, or the longest part. I shouldn't say hard, but the longest part of this card. I think it ended up being putting all of these sentiments together, but definitely gave this a little bit more dimension in my card. And, you know, when you're using a simple design, I think dimension and texture definitely carries the designs. So don't skimp on that too much. Oh, and then I realized, oh shoot, you're putting that on the glue on the wrong side. So I'm like, God. So a little mess up. See, I leave in all my mess ups, guys. All right. So now that we have that double-sided tape on the back of there, we don't have any glue mess, right? I do have to be a little bit careful on placement, because again, like I said, it doesn't give like liquid glue does, but also liquid glue is not getting all over this. Also in my pictures, I do realize that I forgot to put the little dots for the eyes, the tittles, I think is what that's called. I believe that's what it is. So I do go back and do that. I will go back and do that later. But I'm super excited. I mean, I know everybody's like, oh God, not Christmas yet. We can't do Christmas yet. I ended up die cutting this one and missing the actual tape, but don't worry about that. I just put a little bit of glue down. Anyways, but like I said in the beginning, this is the reason I got into card making. So give me a Christmas card any day of the year, honestly, and I'm here for it. I probably have as much Christmas stamps and dies as I do for all of the rest of the time. So my Christmas stuff is very large and in charge in this office, and then everything else comes. So like I said, all right, so here I am. You're gonna see me go back and forth absolutely several times on, do I want to put this on white? Do I want to put this on gold? Do I want to layer it in gold? I'm gonna go back several times. Do I want to leave the big layer or the big border, or cut this down smaller and it be a little bit smaller than the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2? And ultimately I cut it down. I see other people, Christina Warner does a large border like that, and honestly, like I love her cards and like the way she does it, but I still am just never drawn to the large border. So that's just a preference thing, guys, though. Like, do your borders. That is a preference thing. Some people are like very stuck to the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 or the 5 by 7 or whatever it is. do you. This is all a preference. This is your art, your craft. So you do it how you would like. All right, so there we go. We're gonna glue this on using our Barely Arts glue, which actually needs to be refilled, which is so crazy to me. Like, I refill this thing not so much, but like I remember getting this bottle and like being like, oh my god, it's gonna take me forever to go through this. And then it kind of did in the beginning because I didn't make many cards, and now like I go through this bottle in just a couple of weeks now. So it is what it is. Okay, the one thing that using a little bit smaller of a card though is that Christmas was a bit bigger than I expected, so I am going to angle these. I didn't expect to angle them, but you know, we pivot. I also was going to turn it, but I was like, wait, no, my ombre goes up and down. I couldn't do that. So we just pivoted. And I think, honestly, it looks good. See, even there, honestly, from the camera standpoint, I don't mind that. I could have done that. I don't know. I still could do that, to tell you the honest truth. But we left it. Like, you're going to see me do it many of times, trying to figure out. I don't know if everybody does this, but many of times I'm going to go back and forth and be like, do I put it back? Do I go with a white border on the end? And I ultimately said no, because I chose black sentiments. I think if I wouldn't have chose black sentiments and did white on top of that gold, see, even that on camera looks better than like in person to me. I don't know. Anyways, I am going to wrap this one up. Let me know, do you like the red or the green? I almost think I like the green better, and I wasn't even going to do the green in the beginning. Lately I've been obsessed with green at Christmas anyways, so it honestly doesn't surprise me. All right, check out Brass and Bliss, and I will see you next